what's up? Welcome to the Two Goat Show. We're your hosts, Miriah and Steph. Steph, what's up? How you doing?
I'm good, Miriah. How are you?
I'm good, hanging in there. Happy Thursday. I'm ready to finally get some 49ers football. It was nice
Yeah,
having the break, but at the same time, I'm like, man, I miss, watching my team play, especially, I'm ready for them to get a win. I'm tired of, having to sit here with this losing taste, sour taste in my mouth for an extra week because they didn't play. So,
right.
yeah, I mean, other than that, we're good. We're good over here. We do have a Jags fan, content creator coming on, joining us. She did get busy at work, so she will be joining us as soon as she can. And once she does, we'll add her to the stream and we'll talk to her about the Jags. But until then, you're stuck with just me and Steph. Um, Steph, recently, as of yesterday, I think the news came out from Kyle that Steve Wilkes was moving from the booth down to the field. This seems to, this has been something that's obviously been going out on social media, the fans, content creators, everybody's been talking about it for the last couple of weeks. Some on the side that they thought Wilkes should move down to the field, others, think that it's stupid, it's pointless, it's all this other stuff. And I saw yesterday once the news broke, like it's like a really divided, down the middle. I think like the people that think like that, it seems a lot of people I know, like Croc, for example, people that have played football, like they think that this move is totally stupid.
Yeah,
And I feel like it's the rest of us that have never played actual football, like in college or pro level, that are thinking like, well, yeah, maybe it'll do something. I thought it was interesting when Kyle talked about it because he like laid out all the reasons why it's better to be in the booth. Right, like in his presser,
right.
he's like, yeah, I would rather be in the booth if I could. Okay, and then like you get, it's better because of this and because of that and because of this. He never said any reasons why it's better to be on the field. He just said
Yeah,
why Wilkes was moving, and that was, he kind of brought up to be able to communicate with the players. And then Wilkes spoke today, and he said that he felt the need to be able to communicate directly with the players. He said, the dialogue face to face, to be able to make changes. And that was my big thing too, because like when you're going through the game and he has to make, different changes and whatnot, um, before he makes those changes, if he wants to get a player's input, or say the D line, you say Nick Bosa specifically or whatever, they have to call him on the phone, then they have to talk on the phone about it, blah blah. Then he can make the changes, right? Like if you're down on the field, it just seems like it would happen a lot faster, right? Like you could just walk up to the person, hey, this is what I'm thinking, blah blah, boom boom, go, right? You could be
yeah,
talking to 5 players at a time if you're down there on the field, right? Like the whole position group. Whereas if you're on the phone, I don't think all 5 players can get on the phone and be talking to Wilkes, like, so that was my whole thing on it. And then like we've seen that the defensive coordinators, prior to Wilkes, they have like, they seem like the more rah type, like brought the energy, right? Like we'd always see, it was Sala was the same way, D'Amico, like they're both like the energy guys down there, right? Whereas Kyle, he's always just like, and these guys were like, yeah, running up and down the field, like pumped, like, clapping the guys' hands when they came off the field and shit,
mm-hmm.
like I love that. Like I don't know, like it don't seem like Wilkes is that type of guy. I don't think we should be expecting that we're going to get that from him. Um, where are you at in the whole Wilkes moving down to the field situation? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you think they're just trying to throw shit at a wall and see what sticks? How do you feel?
Yeah, honestly, when fans were proposing it, I thought it was stupid because it's like that's not going to make a difference. There are a lot of defensive coordinators, good defensive coordinators at that, who coach from the booth. Doesn't seem to
Mhm.
impact their ability to connect with their players and have a good defense. So I really thought it'd be pointless. One, because also Steve Wilkes, like you said, he's not only does he not seem like the kind of guy, he simply is not the kind of guy who is going to be high-fiving guys and getting all like pumped up on the sideline like we had seen from Saleh and D'Amico Ryans. So if anything, like maybe that's what the players are having a hard time adjusting to. Like I'm not sure, but whatever they're looking for in Steve Wilkes, that is that. They're not going to get it from the sideline. So I really don't think it's going to change much of anything. Sure, communication, real time, maybe, but that would be so, I think, such a small change or such a small benefit, if anything, that I don't think it would even be noticeable. Now, we're going to go into this week 10 game coming off a bye week in which I would have expected other adjustments to be made in addition to this. So a lot of people, if the defense looks good, if the defense looks better, they're going to attribute the defense looking better to Steve Wilkes being on the side, which is hilarious because I think there are going to be a lot of potential adjustments, from the past week or so that I don't think have anything to do with him being on the sideline. So I think it's stupid. The one thing I did like, though, is I feel like Kyle's taking a bit more ownership over the defense a little bit. And you can say, like, because the way I've seen it is like he's very hands off with the defense. It's like, D'Amico, Saleh, like you handle that. I ain't got nothing to do with that kind of thing. Like almost too hands off. Like he wasn't even part of it at all. But now he's kind of forced into this position, and he's a head coach after all. He's forced into this position where he kind of has to make these like executive decisions, right? And I'm kind of liking that. I'm liking that. I don't like the situation that has forced him to get into that mode, of course. Like I'd rather him not have to do all this. But I like that he's being more hands-on with Steve Wilkes. It seems like they both put their heads together this bye week to, figure out, okay, how can we improve the defense? Because he does care. He does care at the end of the day, and he wants to win games, right? So I do like that aspect of all of this. But the move to the sideline is just optics, in my opinion.
Yeah. I did one thing, they had asked him, I forget what the exact question was, but pretty much, what was it? Something about the 3-game losing streak and something. And he had said, I can honestly say I'm sort of built for this. Not in an arrogant way. Standard is high here. So we've lost 3 in a row and feels like ceilings collapsed. I can take it. I'm the new guy here. I have confidence in myself. I have confidence in the players and coaches here. Like he had said, like he hears the outside noise, but he doesn't listen to it or something, I think was what he said. And obviously, they had asked him, I think it was about the blame, like he's getting the blame or, whatever for the 3-game losing streak, something around those lines, And, so like, it's true, right? Like if you look at any social media, like Wilkes is getting, I feel like 90% of the blame, like 8% maybe Brock Purdy, and then everybody else is a little, but I loved that he said that, like he's like, I can do this, like I've been in this. He's like, I've been in this league a long time, like this ain't gonna phase me, and yeah, like he might not be that rah guy. We haven't even heard from him. Like, I don't know what the reasoning why we haven't heard from, like, normally they get in front of the media every week, but the last couple of weeks, it's been like 3, maybe since we started losing, we haven't heard from him. So I was wondering how he was going to be like when he got up there, because, it, like even the players, they can say they don't see the stuff on social media. They don't hear this. They don't hear that. They're on social media, right? They see stuff. They hear stuff. We've heard players tell them that their families, the moms will tell them, did you see what I read about you about, so it's like, they know what's being said out there. So like, I really hope that, this isn't just all talk, like Wilkes, like they, and from the whole team, right? Like not just Wilkes, but from Shanahan. I started listening to the players, but I didn't get through theirs. So I'll finish hearing what they had to say. But, I really hope that, they did not just change Wilkes going down to the field, that other shit did get worked on, and that we are going to see a different team come out, because man, it's been ugly.
Yeah, I did like Wilkes saying that too, because I think it just kind of it tells not just the people, but I think the players too, like I'm built for this, and I think
Hmm.
that like extra oomph, like authoritative figure kind of thing. I don't know. It just rubbed me the right way. Like I like
Yep.
that, I think
Hmm.
the players would like that too.
Yep. So to take things a completely different way, I wanted to get your thoughts on this. Recently, the practice window was opened for a couple cornerbacks. We got Luter Jr. My I can't wait for Sam Womack. Like, I'm a huge Sam Womack person. Like, I really
Yeah.
like, he was huge for us on special teams. When he played. Like,
Yep.
I really can't wait for him to get back. So him, and then Robert Beal for the defensive line. I wanted to get your thoughts on this. If let's just say, obviously, we don't know if, all three are going to come back, just the windows got open, right? Two of the three might come back. But let's just say, if all three of them, obviously, we know that we need cornerback help, and the 49ers didn't make any moves for cornerbacks, right? And obviously, we keep just adding to the D line, adding to the D line. And Beal, he was known for like the speed guy, right? If I remember correctly. So I think, if we could get him back, that would be huge. But adding three to the roster means we have to subtract three from the roster. If we add these
Yeah.
three, who are the three that you think are on that back end that they're going to end up releasing?
Damn, that's a loaded question, Miriah. I gotta look at the I gotta pull
Because
up
you
the
would think,
roster
right,
really
with the
quick.
cornerbacks, if
Think
you're adding two corners,
yeah, yeah,
obviously
yeah.
one or two corners are going to have to go.
Yeah, luckily, I got the 90-man roster pulled up. I got it in my bookmarks, so I'm gonna tell you right now.
All
Um,
right.
so it looks like, let me see. Um, I just want to double check. Is Jair Brown on the yeah, he's on the
Yep.
53, right? So ooh, I don't know. I'm looking at maybe Ambry Thomas.
Ambry.
It's
Hmm.
also possible. It's also possible, Miriah, that they decide to not bring those guys back, right? But I don't know. Like they'd have to have a good case. They'd have to feel that Samuel Womack is better than Ambry Thomas.
Hmm.
And I think he could be potentially. So, do the 49ers feel that way? If not, then they'll be fine with just letting Womack like sit on IR the rest of the year and not bring him back after his 21-day window. I'm trying to see. I mean, yeah, they need the safety depth. It doesn't necessarily have to be a corner. Like maybe they feel like they could have, another corner, and maybe they let go of one of the defensive tackles, for example. Like they got Kalia Davis. Um,
Yeah, but
they
that's
have
why if they added back Robert Beal too.
yeah. I don't think, honestly, in my opinion, this is just solely my opinion. I don't
Hmm.
think they'll bring Robert Beal back. If they do, like again, they'll have to feel like he's better than Drake Jackson, which I
Yeah.
don't know. We haven't seen Robert Beal at all really this season to really be able to make that case. The 49ers maybe could, but I mean, I certainly can't. And the same thing with Daryl Luter Jr., right? Like he rookie. I don't know what they have in him. They talked optimistically about him before his injury and all that. But again, he's still a rookie. So you don't always know what you have with that until you get him on the field sometimes. So I think Samuel Womack out of those three guys is probably the most likely. He also brings, some special teams experience too. So I like him uh, for that fact as well. And he's pretty versatile. Like he can play inside and outside. I think they like him probably more on the outside now because they'd probably want Lenore to kick back inside.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I see we got our guest on, so let's get these questions in.
Spody, what's up?
What's happening? What's happening? What's happening, y'all? Hey, let's forgive my shirt. You know what I'm doing. I'm at
Yeah,
work, so please forgive
I'm
my
like,
shirt. That's
I'm
why
like,
I
what
asked you
is
ahead
this?
of time.
don't
Don't hate,
hate
masturbate.
masturbate.
Yeah, you know how we get down over here in pleasures, intimates. How you guys doing today?
Doing good, doing good. Thank you for joining us. I'm glad we could make this happen.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So
So what's
before we get into specifics, like with our game, I wanted you to kind of talk to me a little bit about, just the vibe around Jacksonville right now. You guys are on a 5-game winning streak. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence is looking great. Etienne's playing out of his mind, healthy. You guys got weapons up the ass. Um, Obviously, the coaching, we know the coaching change from Trevor's first year to his second year seems to have been huge, right? Um, so kind of just talk to me, like how's the vibe going? What's going on in Jacksonville right now?
well, we are living the dream in Jacksonville right now. A little bit about Jacksonville for the people who don't know. We have shout out to Mark Burnell. He was great for us, but we've never actually had a franchise quarterback. So Trevor Lawrence is definitely a breath of fresh air in Duval County. Um, we've always had some things, but we've never had the complete picture. And that's what it is right now in Jacksonville, man. We got the complete picture. We're playing complementary football on both sides. I get a lot of flack about Trevor Lawrence's numbers right now, but you can tell that comes from people who don't actually watch the games that we play. He don't have to do much. Like you said, Travis Etienne is a wrecking ball right now, and having such a strong run game is benefiting not only the quarterback, is benefiting the entire team. The defense constantly having breaks, being able to not come out on the field as much. This ain't some shit we used to seeing in Jacksonville. It's either a good offense and a terrible defense, or a terrible fucking offense and a fucking phenomenal defense. Look at
Yeah.
2017. Blake fucking Bortles in the AFC Conference Championship. Who the fuck would have thought, right? So the vibes are great, man. We are loving what Doug Peterson, and shout out to you guys for Trent Baalke. I know he got a lot of flack for the 49ers, but he has been a phenomenal GM in Jacksonville, and a lot of people just don't give him the credit he deserves, and that man is willing and dealing from free agency all the way to draft picks. So I want to give him some credit as well. Doug Peterson, obviously having a Super Bowl winning coach who's been there, who's built a complete team. Um, you could pretty much see that the guy's been around the block. He came over here. It took him no time to put a team together. A team that was struggling, by the way, because we were struggling at the beginning of the last season, and somehow we ended up winning the division. And a lot of that was phenomenal football play from the players, but 90% to me definitely comes from the guys coaching and getting those guys in order. So shout out to Doug Peterson as well. Press Taylor, the play caller. Mike Caldwell was a linebacker coach for Tampa. We took a chance on him with the defensive coordinator position, and he has been nothing but great. So we got a nice system going, man. We finally put something together. It's nice to be able to sit back and enjoy it. I'm a season ticket holder. Yeah, I love it. I'm loving it.
That's
So you gonna
awesome.
be at the game on Sunday?
Oh hell yeah.
All
Oh
right.
hell
Well,
yeah.
all right. You guys better show up then, because I just saw it's gonna be about 57% Niner fans. So at least that's
Is
the
that what they
projection.
told you?
That's what they're saying. She's saying.
Yeah, it sound good. It sound good. It'll be interesting when we get there to see that. We've been getting that a lot for like the last 2-3 years. And it's not you guys in general, but fan bases seem to think that they come to Jacksonville and fill up the stands. But the way our stadium is constructed, we have these things called bud zones. And the bud zones are great. We have 100-degree weather in Jacksonville for like half of our football season. So a lot of Jaguar fans are hanging out in the shaded areas purposely so that the opposing fan bases don't have anywhere to hide from the sun. It helps our team, with cheering and things like that. Also, being in those secluded areas amplified the noise, the crowd noise. A lot of people don't realize that. I'm actually going to post videos from the game so that people can see the Bud Zone experience. No one ever gets to see it. I'm actually going to video it and we're going to put that experience online so that people are able to see, like the atmosphere. The atmosphere, it's very hard to play in Jacksonville. The atmosphere is insane. The fans are crazy. Really great people, though. Really great people. But once the team is rolling, it gets terrible in that stadium. And that's one of the things I'm hoping we're going to come out and bring because we got to help these guys, with the 6-game winning streak. Because that's what's coming. 6 games winning streak.
Go ahead, Steph.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, with the fact that, the Jags have won 5, the 49ers have lost their last 3, does it give you any, I don't want to say fear, but, like, do you consider the fact that the 49ers need this game so much more than the Jags do? They're going to be desperate for a win here.
So, a couple things. The way you guys have played other teams, don't get me wrong. Yeah, you guys are on a losing streak. That has nothing to do with what the fuck's going on in Jacksonville come Sunday. Other teams beating you is not going to help Jacksonville win this game. So for me, I can critique the play and what I've seen in the last 3 games or whatever from you guys, but we know the team that y'all are. Like, we know what your team has. We know what you guys have built. We know what you've put together. We know how successful the 49ers are. The person that scares me on your team is Christian McCaffrey. 100%. Trevor Lawrence has to beat him. Nobody else. If Trevor Lawrence can beat Christian McCaffrey, then we got a game. That guy is very hard to beat, though. He's literally the best fucking football player in the NFL right now. So for me, that's what worries me is Christian McCaffrey. We do a couple of things well that I feel we can exploit on your defense and on the offense, but we also have those same holes and weaknesses. If you look at the 49ers and the Jaguars and look at the play for the entire season, we are equivalent to what you guys do, but we have the same holes and weaknesses. So it's going to be a very good game. But Christian McCaffrey is my biggest worry.
Yeah, I kind of had a question, similar to that but kind of taking it a little bit different. I know before the season started, you put out what, your predictions, your wins and losses for, obviously for the Jags. Before the season, did you have this game as a win or a loss? And has that changed since seeing how the 49ers have played the last 3 weeks?
I'm sorry. Can you ask me that again? I'm a little busy.
It's okay. Before the season, I know that you did your preseason, like predictions, who you guys were going to have wins and losses against. Did you have us as a win or a loss? And has that changed since this 3-game losing streak for the 49ers?
So yeah, I actually did have this as a loss coming into the season. I'm preseason projections on where your team is and where they would be definitely led to me believing that this is a game that we were going to lose. Not to mention, you guys are like one of the best teams in the NFL right now. So, and this one. Yeah, no, those 2. So for me, I definitely had this as a loss on the schedule. We play a lot of tough teams. And I had us beating quite a bit of them. Like, I got us beating the Bengals. I got us beating the Ravens. The 49ers was not one team that I was comfortable giving us the dub. So I definitely had us losing this game coming into the season. I will say this. After watching both teams compete, I do feel like this game can be won by either side, though.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Go ahead, Steph.
One of the things I saw that, the Jags defense is struggling with, they have a very good zone defense, and that's part of the reason why they're getting all these interceptions. But one of the faults of this zone defense, too, is they're allowing a lot of yards after the catch. Knowing that Debo is going to play in this game, you mentioned Christian McCaffrey as well. He can just as well catch the ball out of the backfield, too. But knowing that Debo is coming to town, he's healthy, does that give you a little more worry as well with the defense, knowing how they've defended yards after the catch?
So I will say this, the stats are deceiving. You got to watch those games. A lot of those yards, if you look at the first half stats from the defenses, we're giving up less than 100 yards going into the second half of the game. And then in the fourth quarter, you get the quarterbacks that are behind and they start throwing. And of course, some plays are going to get made, but most of those yards come in the fourth quarter. The fourth quarter production from all of these teams is insane. So it does make our secondary look suspect. I just don't believe that the stats reflect how good that secondary is.
That's fair. I mean, but they got a lot of interceptions, so I think that will tell you how good the secondary is. And with Brock Purdy throwing a fair share of interceptions these last few games, I'm a little worried about that. Have you seen the forecast for this game? I mean, it's supposed to rain. You're talking about the sun and the advantage that might bring, but the rain could really be a neutralizer in this game. And I personally feel like that would benefit the Jags. What do you think about that?
So I actually have not checked the weather report at all for this game, and I was speaking for the sun. That's just like advantages in the games at the beginning of the season. We're in November, so those advantages no longer exist as far as the heat goes and stuff like that, which we should be taking care of that. We're working on getting a new stadium and getting a sunroof and all that cute stuff, but I will say this: a rain game in Jacksonville would be disgusting. That would be nasty, because if it rains, it's gonna be warm and humid, guys, and that's gonna suck. It's gonna be. We're all gonna be sweating and stinky and shit. Like, oh my god! I hope it don't fucking rain, yo. But if it does, I'll be in the bud zone, safe from the rain, so don't worry about it. I will say this: you guys run the ball really well. We also run the ball really well. So if we do get a rain game, that means we get a very good ground and pound game and a lot of fucking defense. I'm all for it. Because I feel like you guys are the ultimate test for our team. Like don't get me wrong, we're not like blowing people out, but we haven't really like played like to our full potential. And I feel like if we're going to do that, we need to do it against a team that is complete. And I don't want to go out and just beat the shit out of the Panthers and beat the shit out of the Titans and then be like, oh, Jacksonville's one of the best teams in the AFC. No, I want to get those tough opponents in there, handle business, and see how it goes. And to be honest, even if we lose this game and we lose by like 1 or 2 points, that says a lot about our team, because we were not competing with the 49ers for the last 5 years.
Yeah. Okay, so we know all the stars that are on both sides of the ball, offense and defense on your team. Give us maybe an underrated player that the 49er fans in general might not know about, but maybe after this game or after the season or whatnot, we're gonna know. We should keep an eye on.
Here.
Foye Saad Aluakan, most underrated linebacker in the NFL. He's led the league in tackles for the last 3 years. He really plays the linebacker position just as well as any of the top 3 linebackers in the league, but he just doesn't get the recognition because he's a Jaguar. If you look at his numbers and what he's done over the last 3 years and what he's done, even with the Falcons, it's insane that nobody talks about this guy. I like those. I like these.
Yeah, his name doesn't even sound familiar, honestly. Like, like as a name that's like brought up, like Fred Warner, like a name everybody knows. Like, you're right.
Now, if you compare it, and believe it or not, if you compare his last 2 seasons to Fred Warner and the Roquan Smith, they're very similar. Very similar. And the guy just don't get the credit he deserves. I actually give you one more player, if you don't mind. Zay Jones. Zay Jones has been practicing.
Yeah.
Everybody want to talk about Calvin Ridley. Everybody want to talk about Christian Kirk. Everybody want to talk about Evan Ingram. Zay Jones is your biggest problem. No matter what corner you put on him, the guy, he doesn't come off as fast. He's super fucking quick. He's always open. And when he's not open, he still makes the play. So he is another one. Like offense and defense, there's your two guys. And Zay Jones, if he plays in this game, is going to be a very big fucking problem because he hasn't been playing. And that's going to either he's going to get slept on and Calvin Ridley's going to get bracketed and he'll eat, or the 49ers will be well aware of who the hell Zay Jones is, and then opportunities should open up across the board for the offense. But again, y'all got a tough-ass defense to deal with. And y'all just got Chase Young, bro. That shit is nasty. I don't appreciate that shit. Y'all could have waited till after we played y'all to do that shit. That shit was nasty.
I saw the Jags were actually I saw the Jags were actually in on Chase too. So man,
yeah, we
so fucking slow.
We tried. We tried.
I will say this though about Zay Jones. Like I personally, I really do not want him out there because like I kind of hope it does rain so that they play it safe with some of these guys coming back from these injuries. I know you guys have a couple guys who dealing with hamstrings too. That could make it a little tricky to bring them back in this one. But Zay Jones in particular, because I'm already afraid of Christian Kirk in the slot because we don't like Isaiah Oliver and what he's doing defending the slot right now. I think if Kirk is there and Trevor Lawrence is able to get the ball out quick, like the 49ers defense is in trouble. And if they add Zay Jones into that mix, it could be even worse.
I think he got the quickest time to throw this season, guys.
I think it's like second quickest, yeah.
No, I think if I'm not mistaken, I think he's going into the bye week, he was the first quickest. I don't know where he's ranked now, but going into the bye week, Trevor Lawrence was number one with the quickest time to throw the ball. And what's crazy is our O-line is pretty good, so it's not like he has to get the ball out that quick. He just the kid is that good. Like when it comes to making those reads, and pre-snap is another thing that you kind of, when it comes to Trevor Lawrence, that's one thing you got to worry about. The guy's a magician pre-snap. So that not only is he a magician pre-snap, sometimes he goes off script and he'll call his own plays. So those type of things are the things that I value about him. But again, like we got a rookie right tackle, you know. So that's an advantage. Yeah, you got Chase Young or fucking Nick Bosa on that guy's side. Now, granted, he's been having a hell of a year though. That rookie tackle we got, he's an Oklahoma Sooner. I told you he fucked it up. Go right here. So, but he's been having a hell of a year. He struggled with Chris Jones, but he hasn't struggled with any other defensive edge or outside linebackers. So Nick Bosa is different, but that kid also handled TJ Watt pretty well. So I'm wondering what your defense is going to dial up to throw this kid off, because he's a rookie, so obviously he's going to be able to be manipulated. And when you got a guy like Nick Bosa on that side, which I'm pretty sure Nick Bosa will be coming off to his side, like he's going to have some shit to deal with. I mean, even if you got Chase Young coming off the side, you still got interior guys that are going to get crazy pressure. That's another thing. I'm looking for my interior line going to have to beef it up, because fucking Javon Hart, like, are you guys serious? Chase Young, Javon Hargrave, like, are we being serious right now? Nick fucking Bosa, like, come on, give me a break.
Yeah. They haven't been getting the sacks though, which is like the disappointing thing. And because opposing quarterbacks are getting the ball out quick against the 49ers. And like the 49ers have faced guys that even going into the game have already been throwing the ball quick, like, you know, Joe Burrow, like Kirk Cousins, and now Trevor Lawrence. So that's another thing that's going to make it difficult for the 49ers pressure, as good as they are, as good as like all the guys are on the line, like, they can't get those sacks if the quarterback is getting the ball out quick.
Yeah. You have anything?
Oh, me?
No, Steph.
Okay.
Oh no, that was just a statement. It wasn't really. It wasn't really
okay.
like a question. You can go next.
So you talked about obviously your O-line going against our D-line. What do you think is, the best matchup?
Defense or offense? Oh, so I will say is
Either way.
from our offense, I think we have the advantage with the pass catchers. And what I mean by that is I believe our pass catchers will do well against your secondary. But I can honestly say that I am not so confident that that good O-line that I just talked about is going to be able to hold up against that defensive front. And Fred Warner, like, fuck, can this guy not cover the entire field? Like, he owns the fucking football field, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What matchup are you the most worried about? Is it the D line or?
Yeah, definitely the D line. Well, no, hell no. Christian McCaffrey on everybody on the defense. At the end of the day, if he want to beat the whole entire fucking defense, he can two of those. Like this guy's amazing. We was just talking about you was in there earlier, Gridiron Bullies. We were talking about like the top like football players in the league right now. For me, it's AJ Brown, Christian McCaffrey, and like Tyreek Hill. Like what those guys are providing. We should do that, yeah. What those guys are providing, like for this league right now, it's insane. And again, I'm very terrified for Christian McCaffrey. And then one of my linebacker has a broken finger, so he's dropped at least 20 interceptions in the last 5 weeks. Look at the plays. He's literally dropped about 20. I think it's like 18 or something. Sorry, I got a customer.
18.
Dang.
That's wild if that's like the actual
Hopefully
number.
he keeps dropping them.
Yeah, I know, right? Especially if it
Hopefully
rains.
this ain't the week he starts catching.
Especially if it rains. I think, I feel like the 49ers have rediscovered George Kittle a little bit these last few weeks. We have Debo, who was out a few weeks. That's kind of what attributed to Kittle getting, extra targets.
Mhm.
But I do hope that it'll continue even with Debo coming back, because I do think this could be a matchup where, again, like you're playing zone, and what she mentioned about the linebackers, I feel like it could be something that could benefit George Kittle potentially. He could maybe have a big play.
Yeah, the plus thing there for CMC is that we did have this bye week at like right the perfect time, like he was pretty banged up there. There was questions, is he going to play? Is he not? How many carries is he going to get? And, it seems like hopefully now, like he took this extra little time, was able to rest those little, nicks and bruises he had. And we'll see a CMC that's going to dominate because I'm with her. Like, if this football team's going to win, like we really need CMC to be putting this team on his back and carrying this down the football field because the run game the last couple weeks, and we can contribute that to, no Trent Williams, no whatever you want to put it, whatever the reasons were, it hasn't been looking great. So
agreed. I think what's going to benefit Christian McCaffrey is one, Debo coming back. That's certainly going to give a bit of a boost. And also Trent Williams. Trent Williams returned to practice today. That is huge for the 49ers because they have been missing him greatly in the run blocking. And I think having both of those guys back, if both come back Sunday, is going to be a huge boost. I think we see the Christian McCaffrey we saw from weeks 1 through 5 potentially if both of those guys are healthy.
Yeah, because obviously we made it the last couple of weeks, barely. We lost, but they're barely skimming by without no more injuries, and then Banks goes down right when Trent's supposed to be coming back. So it's like to not have Trent and Banks would be terrible.
Yeah,
like we already can't run to that left side at all without Trent there, let alone if they were both gone.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, it would be scary.
Yeah,
and that's what I was
agree.
worried about because what's his freaking name? Oh my god, I just drawing a blank. Josh Allen. Like Josh Allen ain't no freaking joke.
Yeah,
like
and he's gonna
about
be going
him,
on that side. That's going to be Jalen Moore's side. So if Trent doesn't play, of course. I was actually pleasantly surprised, though, by Jalen Moore last week.
Same.
Say what you want about the run blocking. Like, that's kind of – run blocking is kind of hard to quantify, right? Like how good an offensive lineman is at that. But he only gave up 2 pressures, I believe 1 quarterback hit and 1 hurry. So that's not bad because he was going up against Bengals' best pass rusher, Trey Hendrickson. So, he's not bad. But
Considering what we've
maybe,
seen from the last time we saw him, right? Like,
yeah,
it could be, it
exactly.
could have been
He
very
has improved.
disastrous. Yeah,
You got
he
to give him
has.
his credit. He has
Yep.
improved for sure. I think having Trent, being under the wing of Trent has helped him probably.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would feel a lot better going into this matchup if Trent Williams is out there and plays.
Yeah, same.
So,
Let's
man,
see.
look at her grinding
She
over
working
here.
I know. I think I only have, let me see. I think I pretty much asked her everything I had.
Yeah,
We'll see what else you got.
I don't really have anything more. Yeah, like I was just curious about, the weather. I was curious about what matchup she was worried about, and I think like we got all that. So
Yep.
I'm excited for this one though. Again, it's a must-win game for the 49ers. They simply need it more, but just that alone isn't going to win them this game. Like they have to go out and be a different team than they were the previous 3 games, and they need to be closer to the version from weeks 1 through 5. I think they can do it. It's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy at all. Like this is a very, very good team that they're facing here, but I think they can get it done if they play their best ball.
I agree. In my show with John V last night, I had said, there's these streaks. Both teams are on a streak, and I have a feeling this Sunday both streaks will end. They need to end. They need to freaking end. Because man,
we can't do another week of this. I mean,
no.
If it happens again, like if the 49ers lose again, we're talking about a completely like different outlook for the rest of the season potentially. I don't like that. Yeah. So they got to get it right in this game.
Yep, I agree. What's your score prediction?
Okay, so I had like 2 different score predictions because I feel like if it rains, that would certainly play a factor. So I had like one prediction for if it rained and Trent Williams was out, which would be 17-13, which is probably, honestly, I wouldn't feel too great about the 49ers winning with rain and Trent out, but I still got to be a homer, so 17-13. Okay. But if it doesn't rain and Trent is out there, then I say 27-24 is what I said. Still a close game, but just more points.
I like it. The score prediction I went with on Tuesday when I first did mine was 31. I think we're going to get back over that 30-point mark.
Nice.
Crossing my fingers that this offense decides to show up, not only just because Debo's back, but I just feel like hopefully this break did Purdy some good. He was out there farming, got back to his roots, all this.
Literally.
Got some girlfriend time,
fiance
time. So hopefully he's out there slinging it, not throwing no picks, and we can get this offense back how it's supposed to be. So I'm going 31-17 49ers.
All right, I like that. We got some people in the comments chiming into 24-20, 23-20. But they're both saying Jags. Are they saying Jags win?
Oh.
Guys, no. We're not supposed to do that.
I do think, that obviously that scores, a bit homerish because the Jags do have a lot of weapons, and I don't think that this is going to be a cakewalk by any means. They've been playing great football. And, they're as well coming out of the bye, so we don't even get that advantage, like we're having to travel, so we don't get that advantage. So, it could be a lot closer, hopefully, regardless of the score, how close it is, we need the offense, the defense, we need special teams. We can't be missing no field goals, can't be missing extra points. Like this ain't the game to, be screwing around with that. So I really hope that, like all phases show up because they're going to need it.
Yeah, I think so too. That's another reason to be worried about the weather is like Jake Moody, how is he going to kick in the weather if he's asked to? And if we're thinking this is going to be a close game and it might again like come down to a Jake Moody kick, right? And so hopefully weather isn't a factor in this one, but
I hate that we
don't know.
drafted a kicker so high for this reason, right? So that we wouldn't have to worry about this stuff. So that
And
you're
here we
not
are
having to worry
worrying about
about,
it.
like misses. And he was supposed to have a leg that could boot it from, like 60 freaking yards. And it's like,
Yeah.
every week now, like I'm going into the game worried about that more than freaking anything. Like I'm more worried about that than Purdy throwing picks. I'm more worried about that than, our defense missing tackles, like all this shit. And it's just like, God, like I don't want to say wasted a pick, but you spent such a high round pick on this guy. And it's very odd what the hell is going on with him. Very odd.
I agree.
Because he wasn't like this in college. Like, I don't understand how all of a sudden you get drafted to the NFL and you just can't kick anymore.
Well, it's a mental game. I'm for kickers more so than anything. He has the leg. That's not the issue. It's just the mental side of it, transitioning. I don't know.
He needs to go do like a darkness retreat or do some ayahuasca or, smoke a blunt or something. You got to do something. Something got to fix it. All right. Well, I don't know. Spodie, she was awesome. She had a lot of great info. The chat loved her. We'll definitely, maybe if we meet them down the line sometime, we can get her back on when she's not at work. But I appreciate her coming on and pulling it off while she was working, because I know that's not easy to do by any means. Steph, are you done for the week or?
Yeah. So, if you guys didn't know, I'm leaving tonight to LA, so gonna be out of town for a couple days. I recorded my preview episode with Lori last night. Didn't go live yet. It's scheduled to go live Friday, our regular time. So make sure you guys tune into that. She's a Jags fan, so I mean, it's a great. It was a great back and forth that we had talking about like the matchups and deep diving into it. So make sure you guys check that out. But yeah, I'm pretty much done for the rest of the week. Well, no post game show for me, unfortunately. But I'll be back Monday.
All right, I'm done as well. So chat, you guys are great as always. We appreciate you all. Everybody have a safe rest of your week, a great weekend. Hopefully next time we see you all, we are 1-0 for the week. Steph, have a great trip. Stay safe. Hope you have a safe flight. All that good stuff. We're out of here. We'll see you guys next Thursday. Oh, next Thursday we have a great guest lined up as well. So make sure you're there. We'll see you guys then. We're out of here, fam.